What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 11th day of January, and here we are sitting at about $0.0081. We've gone a little bit lower than I initially expected that we would go. But in all fairness, we haven't really had the reaction that I was going for either, right? From a low here to a high here, the expectation when we were up at these levels, or like at these levels, I forget where it was, but the expectation was to find support right at the 382. Because of how fast we moved up, typically in these very bullish environments, whenever you move back to the 382, you bounce and you bounce right off and you continue to move. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but statistically speaking, you have a better chance of bouncing off this 382 rather immediately and moving up than you typically would. Unfortunately, we bounced, we found resistance to the 236, we came back down here, we just did not have a proper reaction. So it became rather obvious that we would, in fact, break through this level. Right? Yesterday, we were calling for going a little bit lower, but what we're looking for specifically is a fake out where we come down and we come back up rather immediately. Now, I got to admit, this is not really that immediate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our 5th 4-hour candle that we've been down here. On the 6th, that'll be a full 24 hours, right? That's a full day. I mean, I think that we can stay down here until the end of this day. But if we close below the 382, yesterday we already closed below the 382. This is typically pretty condemning. That means that you'd go to the 0.5 or the golden ratio. We look at the 0.5, there's not really a whole lot of reasons to find support here, but you do have resistance right there. It could happen. Likely we'd go down to the golden ratio. And that's not a problem. That doesn't mean OnyxCoin is dead, okay? From the current price coming down here, that's like a 21% to 27% drop. We just pumped a lot. Okay. Did you guys hear that? What is that? Dude, what is that? Oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. Anyways, it sounded like a water drop. It's don't worry about it. Anyways, it was from the computer. I was like, what the heck was that? That's a new noise. If we close below the 382, this opens up the door to go down to the 0.5 or the golden ratio. That's all I was trying to say. But if we can close back above it today, then I think we're safe. So the goal today, no ands, ifs, or buts, is to get above 00838. We have to close above there. Already today, we've wicked up to the 382 and found resistance. That's not good. That's not good. If we do take out these lows, then it's likely at that point, brace for impact, we are probably going to go down to 00731 at a minimum, but very likely we'd go down to 00638 to 00587 and find support there, and then recover, and then we move up. And it's not quite that simple, but more or less, yes, that's my expectations. We look at the 1 hour time frame here to try to get some help. It's a little bit disappointing, man. 2 minutes left in this 1 hour. We actually did try to make the push here. Maybe it is bearish. I mean, I'll tell you what, finding resistance right at prior support and rejecting like that rather immediately, it's not a good look, guys. That's not a good look. It's like here, whenever we found resistance at prior support and we rejected immediately, I mean, look at where we are now. It just kept going lower, so that's not a good look. Maybe we should be calling for the downside. Let's look at the indicators and see what we see here. I mean, the RSI does look bearish. You have a double bottom, which is nice. Man, it's so, not making it easy on us, are you? Lower lows, lower highs. Double bottom, though. That's don't mess with a double bottom, guys. But it's on the 1 hour time frame. Maybe mess with it. I don't know. Rejecting the 50. We already did that once, though, and then we found support at the 40. I don't know. I don't know. There's so many. It's overall in a bearish posturing right now, but we've got some bullish things going on, too, that could really allow this thing to grow rather immediately. Stochastics getting tied up here. MACD's bearish overall. At this point, I'm going to take a more bearish stance. Stochastics getting... Man, we bounced right off the oversold zone. It looked so good here. It looked so good. It was ready to go, and then we just gave it up. We have a little bit of bullish divergence on the stochastics, actually. Some bullish divergence on the MACD. Those divergences can... We can further continue them if we come down, right? It doesn't mean that we have to bounce now. The RSI... I mean, what if we do go just a little bit lower? We bounce right off of that. And I mean, maybe on a closing basis, we go just a little bit lower, but on a wicking basis, we wick way lower and then we come back up and close. Maybe it's just a quick dip and then a rip. That would be nice. I don't know. There is some bullish divergence building on both the stochastics and the MACD. The RSI is in a bullish posturing overall. I very much do expect that we will break out of this to the upside at some point, but perhaps we go down lower first. I don't know. I'm a little bit more on board with that going lower. I could be proven wrong on that. I want to be clear. At this point in time, I do believe that we will go lower. We probably do go below 007, but at least 0.0073, if I'm not mistaken. Right, that's where the 0.5 is. From a low here to a high here, 0.0073. At least there, if not down to 00638 to 00587. And if I'm wrong, help prove me wrong, please. I hope that I'm wrong. Get any 4-hour time frame to just close above 00838. Don't wick above there. Don't wick. Just wicks don't count. Close above there, above 00838 on any 4-hour basis, and specifically by the end of today, we have to close there. The end of the day needs to close there or higher. If we can do that, then I'm wrong. Then we are moving up, and I will immediately become bullish there. But at the moment, just with what I'm looking at the indicators and what I'm seeing on the charts, I would think we go lower. Here's a little positive thing in this room of darkness that I've just thrown us into, is that there's really not a whole lot of volume here. We broke out and there's not a whole lot of volume. This is very typical when you get fake outs, but fake outs are typically short-lived. We've been here for almost a day. If by the end of today we're not out of this range, if we're not back up above where we found support here before, then likely this is not a fake out, likely it is real. So we're just in wait and see land. I hope that we move up. I really do. I'm not going to be disappointed if we move down. In fact, I will be buying more if we move down here. I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's all types of investors, right? There's your opportunistic investors who see something that's very low and they buy. There's your DCA guys who they buy, and they're probably the most successful. They just buy no matter what day of the week it is, going down, going up, whatever. If they believe in a project, they believe that it's got some place and that it's going to grow and continue to build, they're just going to DCA and they're doing great. You know what I mean? There's the type of investors that they're not really investors. They just chase pumps, and they see something like this. They didn't buy because it looked like this, but as soon as it looks like this, they buy here, right? And that's probably most people. Most people chase pumps. But there are people who are a little bit more reserved, who are aware of a project, or maybe not aware of it all, and then it pumps, and they wait for it to pull back, and that's whenever they start to buy up. So these moments here, when we come back in, or if we do come back down to about 007, 0073, 006, whatever it might be, these moments are where the strong hands step in. They're about as strong, I would say, equivalently as strong as like DCA people are. But the strong hands step in and they buy something at prior resistance, at a higher low. They didn't FOMO at the top. They didn't catch the most opportunistic moment, but once it was put on notice, they bought there. This is pretty opportunistic as well. I wouldn't be surprised. All I'm trying to say is I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of buying pressure that stepped in here. I highly doubt that we would go lower. We're moving up right now. We're at 0082. It's a brand new 4-hour candle, though. I'm not really that impressed. I am sticking with the downside only because of what we did last hour. That reaction, plus where we are in the RSI, we've been finding resistance here. Where we are in the stochastics, we've been finding resistance here. The MACD's bearish overall on the 4-hour time frame. The RSI to me looks like it could go a little bit lower and be fine. The MACD could go a little bit lower and be fine. The stochastics could go a little bit lower, though. To be fair, the MACD and the stochastics on the 4-hour do have a little bit of bullishness. Bullish divergence, you're at the zero. This is a perfect area to bounce. Bullish divergence, both oscillators are crossed out of the oversold zone. This is a perfect area to bounce and come up. Anything can happen, and I hope I'm wrong. But I'm going with what the charts are telling me, I guess. And again, what I will say is, if I'm right and we do go lower, I would expect it to be we move down fast and we leave a wick behind. I would expect that the lowest that we close on a day is not too far away from these lows. It's a little bit lower, but the wick might be dramatically lower from where that is. Like we would leave behind a big wick, kind of like what we did here from the downside up, we'd be doing from the upside down. That's my thoughts. But again, I'm proven wrong. Lower prices than what we've seen today are out the window the moment that we close a day. I'm just going to say a day. We have to close because it doesn't. We close this 4-hour period above there, but the next one closes below. It doesn't matter. We have to close a day above 00838, preferably today. The sooner the better, but preferably it would have to be today. Anything can happen. I've seen weird stuff happen where you do just kind of linger and then 4 days later you pump up and it is a fake out, but that's just weird. It's not typical. Typically in these fake out scenarios, one day you close below the 382, the next day you close above it. And that's the goal. So close above 00838. At that point, I will come on this YouTube channel and be bullish tomorrow for OnyxCoin. If not, we are going to be bearish down to these levels and likely these levels here. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I guess I should have talked about this. Where are we going to next, right? From a high to a low, you know, we go from this area to this area, whatever we find support. The next area is the golden ratio. That's the next area. And that would take us all the way up to about 1.9 cents to about 2.3 cents. And there is a chance that we could pass through this zone and go up to the 786 somewhere around 3 cents. There's that possibility as well. But at this point in time, with the reaction that we've had recently, it's probably more likely that we do stop at about 2.3 to 1.9 cents, somewhere around there. And I would expect we do see this by the end of the year, or by the end of this month, by the end of the month of January. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.